do truly appreciate the opportunity to be speaking to you on this platform about something that is very critical and crucial in this day and time that we're living in, especially in our African community, where we are experiencing so many difficulties in our present day life. I want to commend AtYourService Technologies for creating this webinar and this platform for many people to come and to learn strategies on how to present themselves in the work environment so that they can become employed. I would like to screen share my presentation with you and kind of go through a PowerPoint, so to speak, if that is all right. So let me screen share. Just give me a minute. All right. Can everybody see that screen share? Great. Thank you. All right. So I've been tasked with talking about job hunting the 21st century way, hacks for landing your dream job. And I want to divide my 30 minutes. I may not need all of that, but I want to divide my 30 minutes into 3 sub-departments. And that is external preparation, internal preparation, and then I want to give you about 10 helpful hacks, since this is a hacking webinar. So we'll move forward. All right. So one of the first things that we have to do in preparing ourselves externally for the job market is understanding the climate and the environment of where you desire to work. You know, in Africa, I've been in Africa about almost 2 years now, and I've traveled to many countries. I'm from the United States of America, and I've traveled to many countries here on the continent. And one of the things that I've noticed on the continent is that the concept of 21st century varies by location. You know, what is considered 21st century in Lagos may not be what is considered 21st century in Sokoto, right? Or what is considered 21st century in Liberia or other parts of the continent. So it is important that you understand the environment and the climate of where you desire to work, because in determining the climate and environment, you can understand the correct strategies to employ in the presentation of your value. You must understand what is acceptable and not acceptable in that climate when it comes to the technological advances that are employed there. For instance, in the United States of America, we are literally abandoning the paper resume, the paper CV, or we call them CV here. In America, we call them the resume. We're kind of moving away from that to a more video resume platform. We want to see you. We want to hear you speak about your references, your educational background, your employment experiences, and we want you to package it up real nice like a TV program. You understand? And that's how we kind of, we're moving in the United States. But here in Africa, we're still doing the CV. So you have to know what is acceptable and what is not acceptable when it comes to the technological advancements that are employed by your environment and your location. The 21st century job market is hostile. Anybody who has navigated through it know It is hostile and it is difficult to navigate. Why? Because it is saturated with young people who are all striving to do the same thing, and that is to get hired. Everybody wants to get hired. And because everybody wants to get hired, I hope I'm not speaking too fast. Can everybody understand me clearly? Can you help me migrate everybody's understanding? Just nod your head. Thank you. I know people say I speak fast sometimes. But you must understand that the job market is hostile and it is difficult to navigate. So you have to determine within yourself that the only way you're going to reach your goals is you must be better. You must be better. You must begin to train your mind to think better, to do better, and to prepare better, because you are not the only one vying for that job that you have sent your resume out to. Now, when you are training your mind to be better, this deals with the amount of effort and preparation you are willing to put into the process of finding employment. The more effort you put in, the more time you put in, the more preparation you put in, it becomes a process that is more rewarding than others. You must carefully define your market. Know what you can do and what you cannot do, and present yourself in that market that will benefit from what you can do. This is how you increase value, because it is your value that you're trying to get employers to buy into, what you can offer to their company based on who you are and the value that your experiences, your education, and your qualifications can bring to the job. So focus more on what you can do and join a market that can benefit from that. I speak to a lot of people here in Nigeria who are looking for jobs, looking for employment. Sometimes I even help a lot of them find employment. And when you ask them, what is it that you can do? I get this answer all the time: I can do anything. That's not a definitive answer in looking for gainful employment. You've got to define your market. So what does that mean? It means that you must research each company that you are applying to. Never walk in an interview, whether it is a physical interview or a virtual interview, without knowledge of the company. Know who you're talking to. Know what their products are. Know what their services are. Are you hearing me? Visit their website. Visit their social media platforms. Know the executive management team by name, and find some valuable assets about that company which you know you can personally contribute to or benefit from. This is going to take research, but you're trying to hack yourself into getting an employment. You've got to become knowledgeable about the company. Don't walk into an interview, which is physical or virtual, and depend on the interviewer to tell you about the company. You should already have knowledge about that company, already have knowledge about their products and their services, even if you have never heard of them before. Present your mind with this type of knowledge. Are you hearing me? During the interview, most of the time, the interviewer at the end will say, do you have questions? And this is a great opportunity now to display your mental acuity about what it is that you have learned about that company. You can say, well, I know your company manages this and manages that. And I find that in my experience as so-and-so, I can be of a great asset in this particular sector of your company. And I think the partnership of me and you, so you get an opportunity to really showcase your talents, and it makes the interviewer feel like you have done your duly research. It bridges the experience together. It forms a bond of acuity that brings both entities together. So I want to move now to internal preparation. And internal preparation deals with what I have to do as an individual to get employed. The first thing I want to talk to you about is making sure your image-based reality fits you. In Africa, especially in Nigeria, I have come to learn that Nigeria is an image-based reality. They want to see who you are and how you look. Your image speaks more for you than sometimes what you say. So make sure your image-based reality fits you. Make sure what you are presenting outwardly is actually who you are and that it fits you. Understand that your employers do not know your personality. Your interviewers do not know your personality. They know nothing of your character. They know nothing of your lifestyle. That comes over time during the course of your employment there. However, they will automatically know the image you portray. And that image that you are portraying will play a vital role in whether the interview will move forward. Therefore, it is very important that you brand yourself properly. Brand, brand, brand. This is not granddaddy's job market or grandmama's job market. This is a job market now where it is so easy to get information about you. You're not hiding anymore. You're not hiding, So branding deals with your interests, your philosophies, and your style. Put it out there. Put it out there for the whole world to see. You must determine what impression you want the hiring personnel to see about you. So brand yourself properly. Put your interests out there. What is it that motivates you? What is it that captivates you? Put your philosophies out there. What do you believe about whatever interests that are going on in the world today? What are the concepts that shapes your philosophy, and what is your style? Utilize the driving force of the 21st century, which is the internet. Utilize that. Utilize that by building a one-page website that you can also use to brand yourself. Take advantage of your social media platforms like LinkedIn, which is one of the most powerful platforms out there in seeking gainful employment. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, all of these are great tools in preparing yourself for the employment force. Now, I don't know about Nigeria, but in the United States, we check social media platforms when we get your resume on our desk. Before we call you, before we set up an interview, we are checking LinkedIn, we are checking Facebook. We want to see what type of pictures you have in your picture portfolio. We want to see if you're running around naked, if you got cigarettes in your hand and beer bottles. We want to know what image you are portraying, because we want to make sure that you are a good fit image-wise for our company. That is the reason why in the United States, you see a lot of companies backtracking, moving away from employers when they find themselves in certain situations that are against the company policy and against the company profile, because they want to make sure that your brand fits their image also. So make sure that you are taking advantage of building a website, building a LinkedIn, building Facebook, and so forth. And then make sure that there is consistency in your brand development. Make sure there's consistency. Your Facebook should not look different from your LinkedIn, shouldn't look different from your Instagram. There should be a consistent message that is being portrayed when an employer is visiting your social media platforms. You can accomplish this by doing some easy things like using the same name, using the same picture for easy identification, recognition from people who are searching you out. Use the same name, that's simple. Use the same name, use the same picture so that you can be identified easily when they're searching for you. Because I'm sure some of these 21st century big box companies in Nigeria are also using some of these strategies in investigating those individuals who are applying for their jobs. Build positive connections from people who share your same interest and from people who are involved in the same market. Most of the time, and I don't want to say this to sound like a crab eater, but most of the time, companies already know who they're going to hire before they even put a job posting online or put a job posting out there. In the United States, for example, and I speak about the United States because I'm an American, but in the United States, for example, it is law that we post a job when it becomes vacant, even though we already know who we're going to hire. And it is also law that that job posted must be up for a period of time before we can cancel it, even though we already know who we're going to hire. We already know who we're going to hire most of the time because we tap into the resources of those we know. We tap into the resources of people who understand our company, understand our brand, understand our interests. So it is important that if you want to get employed, you build relationships from the people that we are already tapping into for people to take these positions. That's the reason why sometimes you put your resume out there, your CV out there, and you're wondering why you're not getting as many feedback as you want to. It's because most of the time they have already made a decision because they tapped their network. So it's important for you to build a positive network, build positive connections from people who share your same interests and share your same ideas. So, companies are always looking at resumes. Make yours stand out by showing active participation in the community and dealing with your interests. This is critical, especially in lieu of experience. A lot of times young people looking for new or gainful employment may not always in their resume. What was that? Okay. May not always have a whole lot of experiences. Are you understanding? And because they may not have a whole lot of experiences, they might feel like they are not adequate for that job. Or they may not have a whole lot of education. And so they're not eligible for that job. One way to overcome the educational barriers and the experiential barriers is to make sure you fill your CV with a lot of active community work that speaks about your interests, speak about your philosophies, so that your employers can see that you are doing something positive in the world. So make sure your resume is built with more of what you have done, if you don't have the education or the experience to back it up. Join job communities and message boards and participate in those discussions. And let me tell you, in this personal development, don't count out the little guy. You know, many people want to work for that big company. Let me work for Google, Microsoft, Dangote. Did I say that right? Dangote. You may want to work for Dangote or some big box Nigerian companies. And there's nothing wrong with that. But understand that in those big box Nigerian companies, competition is fierce and hostile. And there might be a startup, there might be a small company that can benefit from your experience. Their pay may not be what you want or what you expect, but don't count them out, because growing with an emerging company is a great way to build your value and to increase your work experience. Margaret can tell you that I am an advocate and a staunch supporter of the Nigerian experience. Everybody wants to leave Nigeria. Everybody wants to go. And I tell people all the time that sometimes your best opportunity is in an emerging market. And Nigeria, with all of their flaws, is a great emerging market. So don't count out emerging markets. Don't count out small companies, emerging companies that you can build with, that will take advantage and celebrate you in the building process. All right, so I'm going to give you 10 hints real quick. I got a few more minutes and I'll run through them quickly. Hack number 1, develop a spreadsheet to keep you organized on where you are with each employment opportunity and what comes next. Create a spreadsheet. List the resumes you have sent out. You've sent them here. Have they called you? Document that. How many interviews? Document that. What did you discuss? What happens next? So that you are not lost or combobulated in this job search. There's a great app that can help you if you do not know how to create a spreadsheet on Excel or Google. You can use Jibber-Jabber. Jibber-Jabber is a great site. I don't use it myself because I have, Excel, and I created my own database. But for those who can't use it, I support this one because in their free version, they can support over 250 companies and where you are in that job search. It is the most frustrating thing when an employer calls you back for a second interview or whatever, and you don't know anything about the last conversation you had with them. You're trying to remember what you said, you're trying to remember what you gave them, or whatever the case may be. You must organize yourself in the job search. Number 2, canned responses is a huge time saver. I use canned responses just every day for my own personal business. And it also helps in your job search because it allows you to put together prepared scripts that you can use as replies to tons of questions that you might be receiving in your job search. Instead of typing them over and over again, you can just send the script to as many employees as you want to. Saves a lot of time and a lot of effort. Hack number 3. Now, this might not seem important to you, but it is a very important added benefit. Always include a cover letter with your resume or your CV. They might not ask for one, but it definitely gives you an edge and personalize the cover letter to that company. It shows the company that you have taken out the time to address them for the job that you are seeking. Hack number 4, create a job interview cheat sheet. Write down everything you have accomplished on each of your jobs in the past. Keep it handy on your phone or on paper. Whenever you get a phone call from an interviewer, refer to it quickly, as it will help keep you focused in answering questions and pointing out your value. You know, sometimes you could be in the midst of doing something when you get a phone call, and it might be difficult to bring your mind back into the experience of answering questions or presenting yourself in that interview process. Having this cheat sheet will definitely help you to keep focused. Number 5, register with reputable job hunters. Employment offices have a better and established relationships with employers. Utilize them. A job hunter, I don't know what you guys call them here in Nigeria. What do they call them in Nigeria? Employment offices. Employment offices. Register with an employment office. Register with those people that help you find jobs, because they actually have a better and established relationships with companies, because that is their business. So register with them, utilize them, and always checking on them. Make sure they know you are definitely eager and ready for a job. Don't stalk them, but always checking on them. Number 6, offer free help. Now, in Nigeria, that might not be the most popular hack, but it can be very useful in building your value. It might not be popular, but if you really like the company and you want to work there, your services for free. It's a great way to get noticed. It is an absolutely phenomenal way to get noticed. If they're doing something, they might be doing a community workshop or a community project, volunteer yourself. Let them see how you interact with other employees, with their customers. It might be a job fair, volunteer. Even if it's a 1 week, ask for volunteer opportunities, go there and display yourself. It is a great way to get noticed. Hack number 7, match your resume or your CV to the job description. This means that when you see a job you like, you will have to adjust your CV. Use keywords that will attract the eye of the employer, because they have already told you what they are looking for. So when you read the job description, just don't say to yourself, oh, I can do that. I can do this. I can do that. No, look in that description for keywords that you can now incorporate into your CV and send it to that employer, because that employer will look at those keywords and it will attract them immediately, because that is what they are searching for themselves. Which means now that you might not be able to send a cookie cutter CV out to everybody. It means that you're going to have to take some work to personalize your CV for certain employers. And here is a very important hack. This hack really helps, because if you do not do this properly, this can make or break you. Is on the same page. If you listed Mr. So-and-so as a reference, it says internet connection stable. Am I still there with you, Margaret? Okay. If you've listed Mr. Abiola or Mrs. Whomever as your reference, coach them on what to say if the company is going to call them. Don't let them say anything. Oh, I know him. I used to work for me. he clean, he good guy, No, 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 no. Coach them. Say, Miss Abiola, I put you as a reference. When the company calls you, I want you to say so and so and so and so. And always call your references to make sure that the information you have given them stays fresh in their mind. Because if I call as an employer, if I call your reference and they do not speak properly about you, more than likely, I'm not going to hire you. You understand? And so make sure you coach your references. You can accomplish this by informing them of the type of responses you're expecting them to give on your behalf. Hack number 9, very important, be prepared. Margaret texted me earlier. She sent me the link. She sent me the link 3 times already. So I had the link. She called, she said, oh, Dr. Bennett, did you get the link? Are you ready? And I was ready when I accepted the assignment. I already checked the link to make sure the link was working. I already checked my internet connection to make sure it was working. I made sure I had enough data on the internet to make sure it would not fail during the interview. What am I saying? Be prepared. Know the location of your interview before the date. It might cost you 100 naira or 200 naira or whatever, but go to the company. Go there. Find out its location so that you're not late because you don't know how to navigate your way there. If it's a virtual interview, make sure your internet connection is working. Check the link. Make sure it's connected. Always check the time. All right? It's very important because you can be stuck in traffic, late. Leave early. Do what you need to do so that you are always on time at an interview. And this is my last hack for today. Because I only had 30 minutes, I'm already over it by 4 minutes. Send thank you notes, letters, or emails. Let the interviewer know that you appreciate the opportunity and time that was afforded to you by the company and that you are eagerly awaiting a positive response. This also personalized, it makes the company feel like you're really interested. It makes them feel very happy. And it brings you into a more personable space with them. So that is all I prepared for you for these 30 minutes, even though I used 34 minutes, but I appreciate the opportunity and the time. Thank you so very much. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Can we show a sense of appreciation by typing thank you, Doctor, so you can actually read it? Everyone, if you really enjoyed this session with him, please let him know. I hope you can actually read it. They appreciate the amazing 30 minutes we had with you. It was impactful, it was enlightening. I really learned a lot, especially the last hack. That's something I know I haven't done before, and I'll share my network. So we're going to be having the next speaker coming up right now, and whatever questions you might have, he will be the best person to actually answer your questions, especially questions regarding your CV, your resume, etc. I'm not going to assume your questions. I would like you to ask him yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mr. Godfrey Orji. Hi
everyone.
Well,
hi everyone.
Godfrey.
Okay, I just want to be sure everyone can hear me.
Can hear him. Type. We can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So really, thank you so much, Dr. Damien, for. I think you've really given out all the hacks. So I just have very few left to share. But I really enjoyed listening to the session, and I think it even made my work a lot more easier. So like Margaret pointed out, I would expect to see some questions dropping in the chat box, and I'll start answering them as quickly as possible, because we also wanted this to be interactive. But then there are two more hacks that I wanted to share with us, aside the 10. We didn't want to give any information open, so I'll just share two extra hacks. And the first would be about the networking part that Dr. Damien already talked about, and the other is going to be about job hunting research. So the research that goes into job hunting. I know Dr. Damien had already pointed out some of them, but I was also hoping that I could share some more insights into how you can do research about your job hunting process. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about the research part and also talk about the networking part is I find that that's the place where most of the mistakes happen for a lot of people, or most people bear off the path. So now let me get into the research part. So most times before coming for this webinar, I asked a couple of people how they checked the companies that they wanted to work for, and most of the feedback that I got was the very popular companies. So what I find a lot of people is that they only want to work for the very popular companies. When you ask people what banks they want to work for, they just want to work for top banks. So most people don't even know what banks can pay what they are looking to earn, or what they are looking to ask for in terms of salary, in terms of salaries, in terms of compensation and other benefits. So one thing that I wanted to point out was sometimes your research should go beyond just top 10 companies to work for in Nigeria, top 10 companies to work for in the fintech space. And you should try to do the research down more to reading news articles and reading research papers, reading company reports. And so one thing that has really helped a lot of people that I know that are in very top positions is the fact that some of them go beyond just the usual research that we do. So I'll give you a clear instance of someone that one of the best hacks. And this is a hack that has helped him earn a lot of contract jobs. Because one thing that is really now popular in the 21st century is that a lot of people don't want to hold full-time roles that require them to just have just one job. This is the era of remote working. COVID has made it possible for you to hold 3 jobs and be comfortable in all of them. The guy has a very useful hack, and his hack is that he reads all startup funding news. And the reason why he's reading about those, those news articles is because he's trying to understand exactly what each of the companies that is raising money is looking to do. Are they aligned with the skills that he has? Are they aligned with the experiences that he has, so that he knows exactly how to pitch it for? Now, it is one thing to tell someone to just network, to talk to people about jobs, but if you go to a place where you're networking and they don't really need your skills, that is just going to be like where you're pouring water on the cassava. So it's really important for you to network in a space where your skills are needed. So if you hear that an unknown company in, say you are a finance person and you hear that an unknown fintech company is raising money, when you read the press releases, they are most likely to say, oh, we're looking to hire someone in marketing, we're looking to grow our marketing, we're looking to grow our customer base. And that might be a skill that is well within your right. And then it becomes an easier platform for you to just chat them up and tell them, oh, I saw this post, I saw that you guys just raised money, and I have this skill set, and I want to apply them to the company. That's a trick that works for so many, a lot of people. When you're researching, is also finding out problems that companies are going through. So this is the era of portfolio. One of the best hacks ever. Dr. Damien mentioned that companies look at people's social media channels, trying to know whether you align with company culture. But one other thing that you also have to understand is that companies are also looking out for people who can solve problems for them. So many people wait for, many in TV and wait for jobs to come to them. Or many people just wait, sending their CVs and hope that jobs are going to come and everything. But what we've found out in about 2 years of running AtYourService is that some of the largest jobs that we have closed, and when I say largest jobs in quotes, I'm talking about the jobs that people expect that pay 500,000 naira, 1 million. Some of those jobs are not advertised on our job board. because we have clients just saying, please, I need you to look into your database, look into, they just mentioned very specific skill sets, and they want us to hire those people without even mentioning the company, without even mentioning the job role. So what we have found is that more and more, the jobs that people are really looking for, the dream jobs in quotes, are not even advertised. So you don't even know when the dream job is going to someone else. It's almost a situation where you don't even know when someone is single or when someone is in a relationship. You just find out that they are married. So to position yourself properly, it is important to use social media differently. And another thing that you can also do is to create a portfolio for yourself. So create something that helps people understand exactly what you can do for them, problems that you can solve for them. So on AtYourService, on the current AtYourService platform, we've made it very for people to sell themselves. So most of you know that we started off as a freelance platform, and we use most of the learnings from that to help more people get jobs now. So what you find on the AtYourService platform is that beyond just the resume, one thing that we have discovered is that it's not just enough to look at people's resumes and try to fit them in. Yeah. That's why cover letters have always existed, because it gives you the opportunity to explain yourself better. But beyond cover letters, what the current AtYourService platform lets you do is that it lets you show the employer who you really are. So a lot of employers are trying to save time. A lot of employers are trying to save resources. Most employers don't want to sit through 100 interviews talking to people just to post 2 roles or 1 role. So they want to meet you before they have even met you. Now, what we have done on AtYourService is to create a portal that lets you send in a video of yourself. So our system generates a random question. It asks you a situational question. So say you're applying for customer service role, or you have a customer service career path. The system could easily ask you a question. Say you have an angry customer that has been on your neck for like the past 5 minutes, and you have to choose to either call them, send an email. How would you go about that? And you answer the question, you record the video, and the video takes your answer is saved in a video format. So what this does for you is that when clients who don't really want to post their jobs on our job board come on the platform, they just get the opportunity to see you. First, they see your skill set, they look through your online resume on the AtYourService platform. They check some of the skill sets that you have, and it matches what they're looking for. Then the next filter is that they watch your video. They see mannerisms, they hear how you answer questions, how you're able to think on your feet, how smart you are. There are a lot of things that you can gauge. Now, these are also things that even beyond the AtYourService platform, you can also do in social media, because there's a lot of social recruitment happening. So there are a lot of people that you see many people telling you that you got this job on Twitter, you got this job on Facebook. People think that LinkedIn is where a lot of people are getting jobs, but so many people, a lot of CEOs are on Twitter looking out for people that they can easily hire, and people are looking out for processes that are way easier than the standard of the CV, safe rate, and all of that. So people are more concerned about skills. So the final point that I wanted to make, I said I was going to talk about research and how to build your network. I've already touched about building the network, and I talked about how you can put yourself out there. So another thing that you need to do is to always ask questions. Always ask questions. So the kind of questions that we're talking about, so most times we post jobs on our platform, and we've had a couple of people who reach out to us and ask us very specific questions about the kind of jobs that they are looking for, so that we can send messages to them when we have something. We find that a lot of people, after they have done one interview session or they have interviewed for one job, they never reach out again to say, oh, do you guys have this opening? Do you guys have this? There are very polite ways that you can keep in touch with recruiters. So, like Dr. Damien ended this talk saying that you should always email a recruiter, tell them that you enjoyed the interview and all of that. So that is one thing that I totally agree that you should always do. But another point is that you should always ask questions, especially when you are in the interview process. So getting your dream job doesn't just end at you getting an email, hi, you've been scheduled for this interview. It continues down to how you perform at the interview. So we find that a lot of people don't ask the right question. So when recruiters, so sometimes I sit in interviews for roles just to hear how people interact. And you find that when you throw it back at people, they usually don't use the opportunity when you say, do you have any questions? Now, that is a very huge opportunity for you to ask a whole lot of questions about the company that you wouldn't find online. That is when you can ask the company whether you can come to the office with your pet, whether you can get raises, how many times they offer promotions at work, what is the probation period. There are a lot of questions, because if you don't answer these questions, you're going to keep looking from the outside thinking that, oh, this is a wonderful place to work, and then you get in and you want to live in 3 months. But then when you ask all the questions that you need to ask during the interview process, another thing is many people feel that it is not their right to ask some of these questions. I would prefer to sit in an interview where someone seems to be asking too many questions than one where the person doesn't have any questions. Because when you're asking questions, it shows, one, a level of curiosity, and it also shows that you have value for your skills. You don't want to work in a place where, in an environment where your skills are going to be mismanaged, or where the culture is going to be toxic. So I think I'll stop at this point. We have just 5 minutes before it's 5 p.m. So I don't know. We started 5 minutes late, so I'm guessing we have 10 more minutes. So please, if you have questions so far, just ask those questions in the chat box. I'll see those questions and then I'll respond to them. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. Thank you so much, Dr. Damian. So right now, if you have any questions to ask either of our speakers, you can do well to drop them in the chat section. Yes. So because when we started, we didn't have this huge crowd on our platform. I would like to talk to all of us about AtYourService, just in case you're meeting us for the first time. So AtYourService is a recruitment and project management company based in Lagos, Nigeria. And what we do in terms of recruitment is we help companies and individuals, if you're looking to fill in a particular position or positions or roles, we help you search for the best talents who are skilled in the particular field you need them to be and match them to you. So you don't have to worry about the entire recruitment process. We can actually handle that for you. And also whatever project you need us to undertake, whenever, wherever, we'll be there for you. So if it's building of your house, setting up of a mansion or a mall, or even something as painting your entire, renovating your house while you're not available, you can actually contract that work to us, and we will take absolute care of that and ensure that we deliver the best product to you at the end of the entire process. So that is all. That is not all we are, but in a bit, that's in summary, that's what we are and what we do. So we have a question for Dr. Damian from Joseph. And his question is, what is important in the cover letter development for the recruitment team? Yes. Dr. Damian, he's asking what is important in the cover letter development for the recruitment team.
I think Mr. Godfrey also pointed this out in his presentation too, that in the cover letter, it's a great space for you to become personalized, for you to personalize what you can offer to that company based on the job you are applying for, based on the position you are applying for. So you want to use the cover letter and that space to really sell yourself, but not to oversell yourself, but you introduce yourself in a personable way for the position that you are looking for. So it's more of I don't want to use the word biography, but it's more of an introduction of your particular skill set, your particular enthusiasm, your particular future goals, working with this company. What you want to do in your cover letter, you want the company to see that you can become a valuable asset to them. So you don't want to keep it long, just an introductory sentence, Your body should be about 5 or 6 sentences. Then your concluding paragraph, which is just a thank you, and so forth. But in that particular cover letter, you want to be very concise, very precise, concise. You don't want to use a lot of run-on sentences, but you definitely want the company to see that who I am is what they are looking for. I don't know if that answers your question.
Okay, Godfrey, you have one more question from Joseph, and he's asking,
okay,
how can I access your website? Yes.
Hi, Joseph. So the website is www.atyourservice.ng. So www.atyourservice.ng. Simply, once you get on the platform, you can simply just, on the top right portion, you would see a button that the sign up button, or you can just see it on the landing page. Yeah. So initially, Margaret had shared some of the questions. Okay. So Margaret had shared some of the expectations that we had from people that registered, and one of the questions that struck me was someone asked that his expectation is that he hopes to learn how to beat others in getting a particular job. So I'll try to answer that, and I'll also hope that Dr. Damian can just chip in. We're almost out of time. So first thing that I would say is there is no exact way to know other people that you're competing with for a particular role. I don't think it's ethical, or any recruiter at all to tell you, oh, this is what other people are doing, that we need you to just beat them. But the best thing you can do is put your best foot forward. Always put your best foot forward. And I think this answers most of the other questions that we have about people talking about how they can do their portfolio, how they can land the job that they want. I find that a lot of people, so when you see a resume and you think that it's impressive, then you talk to the person and you're blown away. Sometimes people are not so lucky. You find that a lot of people sort of shrink themselves and they don't put their best foot forward, or they don't blow their horns enough. If you have helped a company grow by 100% in the last 3 months, put their numbers, put in that very specific that people can measure. So if I see a resume where someone says, I am great at teamwork, and I see another resume where someone gives an instance where he worked with a team of 4 a project, I am most likely going to go with the person who worked on a team of 4, because a visual picture, the person has given me like a picture that I can hold on to where he has applied his team working skills. So it's always important to put your best foot forward and hope for the best. So Dr. Damian, I don't know if you want to chip in.
That was excellent, Godfrey. What I would say is just be prepared. Employers know who is prepared and who is not prepared. A lot of times people just looking for a job. They're just walking around looking for a job, blah, 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 blah. You know, and the next person coming, they are prepared. They're prepared. Their attitude, their facial expressions, their joy, their character, their best foot forward is visible and noticeable, and it makes an extremely big difference how you're going to leave that job interview. So be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared.
Thank you so much, Bishop Damian. Thank you so much, Godfrey, for your time. And thank you to all the participants. Thank you for registering. Thank you for attending. And we promised to take just 1 hour of your time for this webinar. And I'm so glad we're actually sticking to that time frame. So on behalf of the Chief Service Officer, who is unavoidably absent, I'd like to say a very big thank you to every single one of you for taking us. I know you're very busy. Today is Friday, but out of your time, you still attended this webinar. you paid attention, you participated actively. And our hope is whatever you must have learned today, you would practice or imbibe, you practice some of the hacks given. Example, sign up on our platform for you to gain more visibility to employees, or making use of our CV revamping service to revamp your CV for just 5,000 naira. And that way you can get one foot into the interview session. And if you need anything, you can reach us on our social media platforms, which is at AtYourService_NG on Instagram and Twitter, and AtYourService Technologies on Facebook and LinkedIn. So on behalf of the humans of AYS, we say thank you, have a wonderful weekend, and looking forward to seeing you at our next webinar. Thank you so much. Bye. I'm still Margaret, by the way. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.